Good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to Thrive with René Lunch Break Conversation. My name is René Antoine. I am a life insurance agent helping my client to protect, save, and grow the money. So happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday wisdom, so I decided to bring one I would say the person I am in business with. We are in the business together, not together, but then we each of our own business anyway. So I have with you all Dr. Traci Brooks, who's gonna be in conversation with me as we share the three benefits of life insurance. So on Wednesdays, we want to bring financial knowledge, and life insurance is definitely financial knowledge. And it is in that spirit I'm bringing you all Dr. Traci Brooks. Dr. Tracy, are you ready?
I am. Hi.
Awesome, awesome. Hello, hello to you. Thanks for joining me in this conversation. How are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you so much. How are you?
I am great. Thank you. I know this week is an exciting week. Next week is an exciting week. We're going to be traveling to be with
Absolutely.
one another. And then so today we're just going to talk about the benefits of life insurance. You know, we all hear the word, but then there's so much misconception about life insurance. So, first of all, I mean, like, because the life insurance industry has been around for a while, everyone has heard the word life insurance. But then, can you talk to us a little bit about exactly what is life insurance for those, maybe for who, the one person who may not know exactly what life insurance is?
Certainly. Many people, especially in our communities, many people think that life insurance is just for when you pass away for your heirs, but it's so much more than that. Life insurance has been around for over, 2,000 years. So until people stop passing away or having babies, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. It's the oldest industry to man. And so, life insurance, it is just that. Isn't it something we have car insurance, right? In case you get into an accident. You have homeowners insurance in case something happens to your home. Telephone, when you get your phone, if you lose your phone, right? Remember, you always sign up for insurance if something should happen to your phone. So why is it that life insurance is optional? Something to think about. Life insurance should never be optional. It is to cover yourself, yes, in case you pass away. However, there are so many other uses to it. Life insurance is also to assure that your livelihood will be sustained in case of an illness, and it's also available for you to build wealth so that you can create a legacy. Many, many people, especially those that are wealthy, use life insurance for all three of those purposes. And there are three things that I believe that we'll be talking about today, and that is the three benefits of life insurance. There are many, many benefits, but there are three benefits that Renee wants to pose today. One of the benefits I think you wanted to talk about.
Yes, yes. So before we get into the one benefit, I love the fact that you mentioned how we have life insurance for our phones. Okay, we have life insurance. Obviously, we have, if we have a mortgage, we have to have it for our home. Okay, for our car, we have to have it. But our biggest asset, which is our lives, a lot of time, a lot of us, do not have it. Okay, which is concerning. And so yesterday, just like a little sidetrack, yesterday for some reason I was on my Facebook account, and then now Facebook is giving you the option to add like a legacy, I guess a legacy individual. So if you were to pass away, and then somebody will you can assign someone who's gonna take over your account for you. And then so I'm like, okay, if I'm there, I might as well set one. But do you know how anxious that is? And so now I'm thinking like, okay, I'm just putting a legacy person on my Facebook account, and it's like, oh my goodness. So it's the same thought when it comes to sitting down with with somebody to discuss life insurance, like what are some, like maybe some fears and objection, like the anxiety that somebody may have, just talking about life insurance.
Sometimes people think that if I talk about life insurance, then something bad is going to automatically happen because I'm putting it out there in the atmosphere. If I get life insurance, then I'm going to automatically die. Do you think that way when you buy a phone? Do you think, oh no, if I buy a phone, I'm going to lose it? Do you think if I get life insurance, not life insurance, but if I get insurance on my home, something's going to happen? No, it gives you peace of mind to know
I
that if I
know.
get home insurance, that if something happens, I'm okay with that. What about when you
Exactly.
rent an apartment? You have
Yes,
rental
yes,
insurance. You don't
yes,
think the
definitely.
worst. You just prepare for it. But you don't think that something bad is going to happen. My mom used to tell me when I was a kid, it's better to have it and not need it than
Mhm.
need it and not have it.
Exactly. But the thing is, we all gonna need it eventually. So
Absolutely.
now, yes. So let's go into the first benefit of having life insurance. So do we wanna, you know what? Because most people know like the end all be all one. Let's start with maybe like the wealth creation aspect of it.
Okay. All right. So the wealth creation of life insurance. First of all, it's making a decision to have it.
Yes.
There are different types of wealth creations. I would like to even start with what's called an ROP. Can we start with that
Yes.
one?
Yes, definitely.
Most people have never heard of ROP. That's an acronym or a initials for return of premium. Most people don't know that your premiums can be returned. So here's an example what I mean by that. Say you have a 34-year-old woman. Okay, she has a term policy that's $500,000. She has $500,000 death benefit. She's only in a return of premium. She's paying maybe $100 a month for it, and you know that if she were to pass away between the ages of 34 and 64, you know that her family gets right, or her beneficiaries would get the money. In a return of premium, when the term is over with, when those 30 years are over with, she gets all of her premiums back if she outlives the policy. In other words, if she doesn't die, she gets all of her premiums back. So in that case, for 30 years, and she's been paying $30 a month, I'm sorry, $100 a month, she gets $36,000 back. Yeah. Wow. I guess you didn't know that. Many people don't. I
Yes.
didn't know it before I got into the industry. Renee?
So with return of premium, it's basically the insurance industry saying, I dare you to have life insurance. Because it's basically saying like there's no losing. You get your money back, okay? And a lot of time too, we like a lot of times some of us may not be as disciplined as we would like to be when it comes to saving. And so basically, it's like a forced saving vehicle because at the end of the day, we're gonna talk about the other benefit. At the end of the day, you are being forced to save, and if God forbid something will happen in the middle of having that policy, then definitely they will pay, for other that benefit. However, if nothing happened, then it's like you are saving, for that final expense. So thank you so much, Dr. Tracy, for sharing that with our audience. Hi, everyone, for watching. I see you all. I appreciate you. Share this live. It is so important. If you joining us, my name is René Antoine. I'm in conversation with Dr. Traci Brooks. We are both insurance agent, educating our community about life insurance. If you have life insurance, amazing. But I'm sure you may know somebody that does not have it. And maybe that can be a family member. So part of what we're doing is to educate the community about the importance of life insurance. It is time that we are not burdened by final expenses. So at the end of the day, you can share this information because if somebody in your family do not have it, guess who's they're gonna knock at the door of when life happen? Most likely you. So knock on this door by sharing this information. Dr. Traci, let's get into the second benefit of having life insurance.
Okay. Um, let's talk about cash value.
Yes.
In a permanent policy, let's kind of break it down a little bit. A permanent policy is like this. I like to use an analogy. A permanent policy is like buying a home. Because when you buy a home, you are creating equity in your home. The same thing with a permanent policy. When you purchase a permanent policy, it's building what's called cash value. It's like a savings account inside your policy that continues to accrue. A permanent policy is like an umbrella that houses different kinds of permanent products that will take you all the way to your like 121 years old. Who lives that long, right? That's why it's called permanent. It takes you the rest of your life. It does not expire. That's the great thing. A permanent policy houses different products like your whole life products. An IUL, which is called an Index Universal Life. GULs, Guaranteed Universal Lives. There are a lot of different kinds of permanent policies. In a permanent policy, it helps you to accrue the cash value. And so maybe you're spending or paying $200, $500, $1,000 a month, something like that. You're investing in yourself. And you also, of course, have your death benefit. The cash value accrues, which is a beautiful thing. Now, the carriers that we represent, all over 30 of them, they all have what's called living benefits. I think we talked about that before, but for all the new listeners, living benefits says, in case something happens to you, not that you pass away, but simply that you become ill. Maybe you had a heart attack, heaven forbid, or a stroke, or cancer, or even COVID-19 complications, lupus, anything that's going to stop you from doing only 2 out of the 6 daily living activities, meaning you need help bathing, or you need help eating, or you need help transferring from the chair to the sofa. You need help. What the carriers do, all of them, they will advance you 50 to 90% of your total death benefit. They will advance you depending on the severity of your illness. And they will send it directly to you, to your bank account. You can use it any way you want to pay those bills, whatever you need it for. And here's the wonderful thing about living benefits. It's tax-free and you do not have to pay it back. Isn't that amazing? Many people, sadly, have their financial house upside down. What do you mean by that, Traci? Meaning they rely on their bank account. They rely maybe on their 401k, right? Their stocks, real estate. They rely on these different things. And then if they think about it, they'll get life insurance. Well, what happens when your 401k, what happens when that's depleted? What happens if you have one illness? There goes your 401k, right? Because especially if you have it where it's liquid, maybe you left your job and you pulled it down to live off of. Well, there it goes because of one illness. Maybe you're still working and you're relying on your bank account. Uh-oh, you have cancer. Uh-oh, you have a stroke. What happens when you have one illness? There goes your bank account. So what we're letting you know is the purpose of living benefits is so that can be your foundation. It's for those kinds of illnesses. And it's after your medical. I mean, we're not even talking about medical insurance because we know that medical insurance doesn't cover 100%. The living benefits is your cushion. It alleviates the financial burden. René?
The living benefit is your caution. Thank you so much for sharing that. it is so important that we understand that life insurance, it's called life insurance. Okay, life meaning that you can use it while you are alive, and then there are situations where it's gonna require you to have a little bit more protection. And then so we're gonna talk about this later. A lot of time we may think, oh, I have insurance at my job. Good for you. If you have it, I'm proud of you. Good for you. But how many of us heard of somebody who lost their job in the midst of COVID? Okay. And then so it is important that we are listening to those conversations. We are educating ourselves. We are educating our community. And then we are being, if you have any questions, I'm sure both of myself and Dr. Tracy will be more than happy to answer any question that you have. Feel free to type it in the chat. So this conversation is to talk about the importance of life insurance. So the first one that Dr. Tracy talked about is the fact that you can be able to use it as a saving vehicle to return of premium. Okay. And then so now she just mentioned how you have the living benefits as well as the cash value that, oh, and it, as a matter of fact, Dr. Tracy, let's talk about how a lot of time, other communities are using life insurance. They are using cash value to start businesses.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So touch on, I mean, like when you talk about cash value, so talk to us a little bit about that, and as well as the opportunity to fund college, your kids' college education with those cash values. Some of the ways that we can use them.
Absolutely. Let me give you a couple examples.
Yes, please.
Did you know? I didn't know this until I found out about it and being in this industry. That's how Ray Kroc started McDonald's. That's how Walt Disney started Disney World, is through their life insurance policy. You can do the exact same thing. The younger you are, you have all kinds of opportunity to start early. Of course, the older we are, we don't have as much time behind us as we did in front of us. So you may get insurance with your money, but you know what? You're really investing in it with your age and with your health. That's very important. So when it comes to business, the younger you are, especially I'm talking, if you're 18 or older, 19 or over, something like that, a young adult, that's the prime time to start a business. Why? Because
Yeah.
agents can help you. We can help you to put together a plan. And that way, in the next 30 years, the cash value will accumulate. And by the time you're our age, oh my gosh, you'll be sitting very, very pretty. And then let me say this. There are parents out there are grandparents out there that can help in helping your child, maybe your newborn, your grandchild that was just born. And you could begin to put money in a account, a permanent policy every month. So by the time your child is 20 and is in college, it's all paid for. Let me give you another example. I knew of a grandmother whose grandchild was just born, and she put $150 a month into a permanent policy. And it began to grow and grow and grow. And she did that for 20 years. And then she was able to stop. So when that child now was of age, it had accumulated so much so that that child can now pull out, of course, with the guidance and the supervision. But the grandmother was also able to pull out different amounts for different things. So it's just a wonderful thing. The grandmother was able to pull out money for a nice down payment down the line for the granddaughter. She was able to pull out $7,000 here, $30,000 there, $10,000 for different things, and it continues. So there are so many ways that you can help your child, you can help your grandchildren, especially when it comes to college.
Awesome, awesome. And now that we're still on the college conversation, so in the banking industry, they also have 5 to 9 college saving plans. So a lot of time when people are thinking about saving for college for the kids, the first thing that comes to mind is the 5 to 9 college saving plans. But then talk to us about how the 5 to 9 college saving plan, well, it is a good option, but at the same time, it does affect your FAFSA versus a life insurance. If you're putting money in, like you mentioned, like a permanent policy that accumulate cash value, that does not affect the child FAFSA. So if you had the option to put money in one or the other, which one would you choose?
Absolutely. I've been an educator for over 30 years. And even when I was in college, that FAFSA, there's a certain time that you have to do your FAFSA. But even when you're getting loans, that's just not the ideal, because down the line, you'll end up having to pay back the student loans. Now, of course, the FAFSA, you don't, but it only goes so far. Don't you know there's a big pool that students are applying for those FAFSAs? But if you wait till the last minute, you're not getting the money that you could have gotten had you started earlier. So I recommend, especially for students, to really start thinking about life insurance, because life insurance, you don't have to pay back. You don't have to worry about loans, but it takes a minute. If you're looking at going to grad school, so much you can do with life insurance, and you're able to accumulate that if you start early. Say, you're a young adult now and you're looking to have a practice down the line. Well, it's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars if you're going, say, to in the medical field. But if you start early and it begins to accumulate down the line, you'll have it. Especially if your parents or your grandparents are on board and they're starting early, and you have that kind of a fund that started earlier in life. Then by the time you get to that place in life, you'll have what is necessary. Does it make sense? So
Certainly,
it's
it
all
does
about
make sense.
thinking ahead.
Yes, yes. And then so we have 3 minutes. So let's talk about the last benefit of life insurance. I'm sure a lot of us know it.
The final expense.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now, the final expense is usually for people that are older, because there's more of a risk. There's more health issues when we become older. So for the final expense piece, it's twofold. We have companies that will do final expense, and it's usually very, very affordable. You do not need, you don't have to worry about your health when it comes to final expense. But the downside of it is it's really not a lot. It's really just for burial. And usually burial is, minimum about 10,000, 20,000 max. So, but it is a final expense, just what it says. So those are available. However, there is something called an annuity where you can do your own final expense. So if you have a lump sum, for example, say from your 401k, you can roll that over to an index. And it's an annuity that will grow with the index, where you get the gains of the market without the losses. You can create your own final expense. Yes, you can. So there are various options, and those are two of them. And that is another way. If you are at the point in your life where you need a final expense, you can see myself or you can see René, and we can certainly help you get you started with that. And they're very, very affordable. Very affordable. René?
Amazing, amazing. Thank you again for being with me in this live in conversation, Thrive with René conversation. This afternoon, it is so important that we share this information to our community, because GoFundMe is becoming the number one, I guess, sources of final expense. There's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, if anybody need help, and then definitely reach out for help. But at the same time, if we have the option to be educated and then to use those means available to all of us, and the earlier we start, the better, because like Dr. Tracy says, it's depend on your health, okay, and it depends on your age. So the earlier you start, the better. The earlier you start, the better. So don't just put life insurance on your list and then forget about it. Don't just leave life insurance as something that you will think about, because at the end of the day, it is something that we all of us will need to have one day. And so if you think that you don't need life insurance, but just think that when life happens, who's gonna be responsible? Okay, how are you gonna leave your loved ones? What does well, how are you gonna leave your loved ones? How are they gonna be able to take care of your final expenses? So I understand, we talked about it earlier that it can be a touchy subject, but it is necessary. Don't just think that life is gonna happen to all of us. There is 100% chance that all of us is gonna leave this earth one day. But then when we do leave this earth, how will we leave all of ones? Will they be grieving at the same time trying to figure out how to bury us? Or are we gonna be responsible and say, well, let me make sure I have something? Even if it's to just cover your final expenses, that's okay. If you want to do a little bit more than that, that's up to you. But I believe that there is an age that when we all become adults, we should be responsible for our final expenses. So think about it, share this information, share it with somebody that you care about, because if you care about them and they don't have life insurance, life happen, it's gonna be on you. Dr.
Absolutely.
Tracy, anything you want to add on that?
I just want to just encourage everyone that's listening to know exactly what Renee said. We all have a responsibility. Please don't have the mindset of, well, someone else will take care of that. That's being really irresponsible. Have the mindset of, I'm taking care of my business. That's so important. And the younger you are, it's not too late to work on leaving a legacy, building wealth for the next generation and for yourself. That is how you learn, and that is how we begin to learn, teach the next generation. Get in touch with us. We can also give you information on trusts, wills, credit repair, things of that nature. We have a plethora of resources that we can certainly share with you. Because face it, this generation, especially the millennials, the Gen X's, they may not have had that opportunity to learn because they don't teach this in school. However, we've had a chance to learn quite a few things for our communities. Contact us. You know how to get in touch with us on Facebook, Instagram. My name is Traci G. Brooks, Dr. Brooks. You can get in touch with me, get in touch with Renee. We'll certainly be able to give you the resources for all of that.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you again, Dr. Tracy. In our industry, this industry has been around, like we mentioned, over 1,000 years, 2,000 years. Okay, and then so this industry will always be needed. People are gonna continue to give birth. People will continue to pass away. But we will always need people who's doing what Dr. Tracy and I are doing, which is educating our community. And so if you feel that you are looking for a way to be part of this industry, that you think that this is something that resonates with you, feel free to reach to either one of us and we can tell you how you yourself can be part of this mission to educate our community, to spread the word to our community. This industry, it's not for everybody. Okay? It is not for everybody. You have to be able to be licensed. You have to be able to have a decent background. And then so with that being said, if you feel that you want to be participating in what we do, feel free to reach to either Dr. Tracy and I, and we will tell you how you yourself can be an advocate for financial literacy and advocate for life insurance.
Thank you so much, Renee. Thank you for the opportunity once again. And it's open to whosoever will, let them come. God bless you,
Whosoever will.
everybody. And this is what we do. We educate our communities. If you need an extra stream of income, this is a great opportunity. But that's why more and more people are coming into this industry as a career, because it has income stability.
Yes, it
Have you
does.
ever heard of the insurance industry crashing? Of course not. So if you're looking for another stream of income, in fact, I'll just go one step further to say, don't you know that we say stream of income, but streams only create trickles. How about a river? We're here to help you to create your river. Contact us and we'll be happy you did.
Definitely, definitely. Thanks again, everyone. Share this live, share, because we need this message to go to as many people as possible. Because our mission is to, I mean, like, I don't want to say eliminate GoFundMe, but then eliminate the need for GoFundMe for life, for final expense. Initially, the purpose of GoFundMe was to help people start businesses. Okay. And then, so if the money that we all are putting together when people that we know of pass away to help pay for final expenses, if we educate our community about life insurance, and then they are able to know, to take that knowledge and act upon it, then we're gonna have wealth and resources, whereas we can invest in each other businesses. Okay. And then, so now if we want to have a seat on people's table, we can then start to create our own table. That's all I have for you today. My name is René Antoine, in lunch break conversation with Dr. Traci Brooks. We are here. Contact us, reach out to us, because at the end of the day, it matters to you, it matters to your family, it matters to our community. That's it for now. René Antoine signing out. Thank you, Dr. Tracy.
You're welcome. Thank you, Renee. God bless you, everybody.